After failing 12 tests, a billionaire's son discovered an amazing secret from the cleaning lady. Ryan Miller shuffled home, his mind a tangled web of anxiety and expectation. 12 tests. That's how many he had flunked this semester alone, each failure echoing louder in the grand halls of Maplewood Academy, where everyone else thrived effortlessly. The billionaire's son, they whispered, circling like sharks smelling blood. With every step past the manicured lawns of his affluent neighborhood, the weight of his father's towering achievements bore down on him. Ryan felt like a ghost, trapped in the shadow of a legacy he couldn't meet. On this ordinary evening, with twilight casting long shadows, he stumbled upon Maria, the kind-hearted cleaning lady who somehow always found a smile. She looked up from her cart as he dragged his feet, a knowing glimmer in her eyes. "Tough day?" she asked, her voice warm like homemade soup. He nodded, the lump in his throat tightening. Here was a woman with barely any money who purified classrooms day after day, yet she had a strength that made his struggles seem pale. Maria leaned against her cart, her hands worn but steady. "You know, when I came to this country, I had nothing but dreams and hard work," she said, her voice a comforting lull. "I learned that what I have in my heart matters more than what others see." As she shared stories of her sacrifices, Ryan felt something shift within him. Hers was a life full of resilience, a stark contrast to the endless pressure and expectations that strained his every day. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The next few weeks blossomed into an unexpected bond. Under flickering street lamps, Ryan and Maria shared late-night conversations that kindled a fire in him. She encouraged him to see the world beyond the polished gates of wealth, where people like her fought hard to make their lives count. The very essence of the American dream breathed life into his dulled spirit. Her laughter seemed to wash over his despair, splashing color where there was once gray. But then came the project that could reshape everything: a spotlight on social justice, inviting students to unveil the hidden stories behind their faceless roles. Ryan's heart raced. Would he choose the easy path, riding on the coattails of his father's name, or would he find the courage to give a voice to the unsung heroes like Maria? Pressure mounted, and with each passing day, he wrestled with a clash of identities, feeling both the desire to stand for truth and the paralyzing fear of social consequence. As he prepared for that pivotal presentation day, his heart thundered with uncertainty. The looming shadow of his father's anger chilled his resolve, yet within him, a growing flame demanded authenticity. Would he let this moment slip away, allowing inequality to fester in silence? Or would he rise, embracing his burgeoning purpose? Standing at the crossroads between privilege and purpose, he sensed the weight of the world resting on his shoulders. Tension curled in his stomach as he approached his fate, knowing he could change everything. But would he dare to take that step into the light? The morning sun peeked through Ryan's bedroom window, casting golden rays that seemed to mock his anxiety. Today was the day. The day he had to stand before his classmates and share the story he had wrestled with for nights. The weight of his choices pressed hard against his chest. Every beat of his heart echoed his struggle. He glanced in the mirror, searching for a fragment of confidence. The reflection staring back was a swirl of confusion and trepidation. What if they laugh? The thought gripped him like a vice. Would the kids who spent their evenings locked in their gleaming mansions scoff at him for choosing to speak up about social injustice? Yet, as he dressed, his mind drifted back to Maria. Her unwavering spirit reminded him that his voice mattered. The way she spoke about overcoming hardships, her dreams, and the gathering strength of her community stirred something deep within him. With a shaky breath, he stepped into the day, feeling a flicker of resolve ignite in his gut. The auditorium buzzed with excitement, a cacophony of laughter and chatter, reflecting the privilege of 100 lifetimes. Dressed in their designer clothes, students from affluence surrounded him. He spotted Jake, his father's right-hand man's son, a perpetual smirk plastered on his face. Each time Jake laughed, Ryan felt a little weaker, as if his truth was about to be swallowed whole. When his name was called, Ryan fought the urge to flee. With each step toward the podium, he could almost hear Maria's voice urging him forward. "Speak from the heart," she had said. "Let them see the real world, not the shiny one they think they live in." As he stood there, the audience quieted. The microphone felt foreign and intimidating. Hi. I'm Ryan," he started, his voice trembling. "I want to talk about something important." A few skeptical glances darted around him, but he pressed on. "There are stories that deserve to be told, stories of people who work hard, people like Maria." His voice steadied as he spoke of Maria's journey, her challenges, and the relentless positivity that defied her circumstances. He painted pictures with his words, taking them into her world where dreams were fueled by grit and determination. As he shared her laughter and pain, he saw some of his classmates' expressions shift. Confusion morphed into curiosity, and a few students leaned in, listening more intently. Ryan felt the tide change. "It's easy to ignore what we don't see," he continued, gaining momentum. "But it's time to wake up and acknowledge the reality that's often hidden behind our privilege." As he finished, an eerie silence enveloped the room. The applause, hesitant at first, grew stronger, echoing off the high ceilings. Relief swept over him, mixed with an unfamiliar thrill. He had spoken his truth. The fear that had gripped him melted away, replaced with hope. But when Ryan stepped off the stage, he felt a sudden gut punch. There stood Jake, fury brewing in his eyes. "You think you can just stand up in front of everyone and guilt us?" He spat out, his voice laced with arrogance. "You'll regret this, Ryan." Ryan's heart raced. Doubt crept back in, squeezing around his resolve like a noose. He had opened a door, but was he ready for what lay on the other side? Would he stand tall against the looming threats of his peers, or would fear drag him back into silence? The uncertain path ahead shimmered with opportunities and dangers alike. With his heart thumping wildly, Ryan knew the real battle had just begun. Would he continue to embrace the light he had found, or retreat into the shadows? Ryan felt a surge of adrenaline as Jake's words hung in the air like smoke. The auditorium felt smaller, the walls closing in on him. People started to disperse, laughter resumed, but for a moment, he was frozen. A million thoughts raced through his mind. Regret? Fear? Would standing up for what he believed in lead to more isolation? "Don't listen to him," whispered a voice behind him. It was Maria, her eyes filled with concern, yet there was strength in her gaze. "You did something brave. Don't let him take that away from you." Her faith was like a lifeline, but doubt slithered back in. "What if he gets everyone to turn against me?" Ryan felt his insides twist. "Let them," Maria replied. "People can surprise you." "You opened a window, Ryan. Give it time, they might just peek through." Glancing back at Jake, Ryan saw the smirk widen into a grin, full of contempt. "What a loser," he scoffed loudly enough for a few nearby to hear. The laughter that followed stung more than Ryan anticipated. It felt personal, like he had been stripped bare in front of everyone. He thought he was ready for the challenge, but facing it head-on felt entirely different. Ryan took a deep breath as Maria slipped her hand onto his shoulder. "We need to keep fighting," she said, her voice low and steady. "Not just for ourselves, but for others." But Jake wasn't done. He stepped closer, flashing that insufferable grin. "Oh, look at the wannabe hero. What are you going to do next, Ryan? Start a charity?" His friends snickered, and something inside Ryan snapped. "Maybe I will," he shot back, surprising even himself. "Maybe I will make a difference, while you just sit there and laugh." A flicker of uncertainty crossed across Jake's face, but it vanished quickly. "You're all talk, Ryan. Just wait until we're seniors, and your little speech is nothing but a joke." Ryan felt more eyes on him now. The tension in the air was palpable, and it felt like standing at the edge of a high cliff. Did he dare take one more step? Turning to the gathering crowd, Ryan drew in another steadying breath. I spoke about social justice because those who struggle deserve a voice. You can laugh, ignore it, or pretend it doesn't exist, but it's real and it matters. There was a whisper among the audience, surprise rippling through them. Was he really standing up against Jake now? A wave of hope washed over him, but he wasn't done. And if you can't understand that, he said, locking eyes with Jake, then maybe you're the one who should be scared. For a brief moment, the smirk faltered and Ryan savored that flicker of victory. But a bigger battle loomed ahead, and he needed to prepare. Would he be able to rally his classmates to see beyond their privilege? Could he inspire them to recognize their part in the community? Just remember, Jake sneered as Ryan began to walk away, this is far from over. When Ryan emerged from the auditorium into the fresh air, he felt a cocktail of emotions. He had taken a stand, but what now? Could he really transform his peers' perspectives? The sun had dipped slightly, casting long shadows on the ground. As he looked for Maria, he realized that this was just the beginning of a new journey. A journey that required more than just courage. It needed allies, understanding, and a commitment to change. He spotted Maria leaning against a wall, arms crossed, her brow furrowed in thought. Could their budding friendship be the first step toward collective action? Ryan approached her, heart pounding with a mix of exhilaration and fear. Did I really do it? He asked, vulnerability spilling from him. Maria smiled softly, a spark igniting in her eyes. You did more than just speak, you opened a conversation. But now, are you ready for what comes next? As she spoke, Ryan's heart raced with the weight of possibility. Was he ready to change not only his world, but the world of those around him? His answer was still unclear as they walked towards the school steps, but one thing was solid: his voice had power, and he wouldn't back down easily. But how would he navigate the turmoil that lay ahead? Would he stand together with others, or would fear once again lead him into silence? Ryan stepped closer to Maria, their breaths visible in the cool afternoon air, a temporary balm against the fiery emotions swirling inside him. He could still hear the echoes of laughter, Jake's condescending tone ringing in his ears. It stung, but Maria's presence provided a spark of strength. What do we do now? He asked, scanning the vibrant campus around them, now feeling foreign and intimidating. Students were intermingling, laughter punctuating the air, but beneath that joy lay unspoken chasms, divides he had only begun to understand. Now we start talking to people, she replied, her eyes glimmering with determination. You can't change minds just by making a speech. Ryan nodded, his own courage flickering like a candle in the wind. But how? They don't care about what I have to say. They might not right now, Maria said thoughtfully, but emotions are contagious. If you show them that you care, they might start to care too. Right, Ryan mumbled. But where do we even start? A plan began to unfold inside his mind, weaving hope and excitement. What about a club? A place to discuss all these issues openly? Maria's smile widened. That's an amazing idea. But we need to get people interested first. Maybe a rally? An event? Ryan's pulse quickened at the thought of organizing something, his vision of change sharpening with every heartbeat. We could invite speakers, have discussions on different topics, educate people. Make it fun, music, food. It could draw in a crowd. Maria clapped her hands together. Exactly. We can use social media too. Get the word out. Let us reach those who feel the same way. Their excitement was palpable, a lifeboat amidst the stormy sea of uncertainty. But a shadow loomed over their newfound hope. Ryan couldn't shake the thought of Jake and his gang. What if they come to ruin it? What if they try to shut us down? Maria's expression hardened. If they do, it'll only prove our point. Sometimes adversity strengthens a cause. And we won't be alone. I'll help you, and I bet there are others who'd be willing to fight alongside us. Ryan felt his resolve solidify. He would not let fear dictate his actions. With every brave decision, a door to a new path swung open. Let us do it then. Let us have our rally. As they dove into planning, the adrenaline surged through Ryan. But deep within, he still wrestled with doubt. Would they truly be able to change minds? Would he manage to inspire his classmates? Hours passed, and as Ryan made his way home, a sense of purpose filled him. The world outside his window glowed in the slanting rays of the setting sun, an emblem of hope. At dinner, his little brother asked him if he was still sad about what had happened earlier. Ryan paused, caught off guard. No, Jake actually kicked off something good today. His brother tilted his head, confusion spilling out over the table like milk. What do you mean? I mean, I learned that I can stand up for what's right and that I don't have to do it alone. I can bring others together. That's stronger than any one speech. Ryan smiled, feeling it deeper than he ever had before. A flicker of hope began to ignite his spirit as he imagined the rally, the people it could bring together. But as he brushed his teeth later that night, the question nagged at him again. Would it really work? Would people show up, or would Jake and his crew drown them out? When Ryan laid his head down to sleep, he vowed to face whatever came next. Tomorrow, he would meet Maria to start networking and planning. Change was within reach, but would he be able to grasp it? As his eyes closed, Ryan felt the whisper of doubt creep in again, a ghost he couldn't shake off. What would tomorrow reveal? How far was he willing to go for this newfound purpose? Ryan's alarm buzzed before dawn, a harsh sound in the quiet room. He fumbled for it, his mind still caught in the dream of last night, a world where the rally had drawn a crowd of people cheering for change. He could almost see their faces, their hope blending into one united voice. Get up, Ryan, he whispered to himself, shaking off the remnants of sleep. Today was the day. Today they would start bringing their vision to life. His nerves tangled as he got ready. The uncertainty about the rally bubbled in his stomach, but Maria's words echoed like a mantra. Emotions are contagious. He needed to focus, to believe in what they were trying to build. After breakfast, he grabbed his backpack, heart pounding as he stepped out into the crisp morning air. The campus buzzed with energy. Students in clusters, some rushing to classes while others lounged on the grass, basking in the sunlight. Ryan spotted Maria sitting on a bench, her phone in her hands, typing furiously. She looked up and caught his eye, beaming as he approached. Hey, she said, bouncing up. Guess what? I've got a list of students who might want to help. They care about the same issues we do. It's a start. The excitement in her voice was infectious. Ryan felt a surge of hope push against the weight of doubt. That's great. Who are they? Maria pulled out her phone and shared the names and profiles. We can reach out to them first. Maybe grab coffee, talk about what we're planning. Yeah, let us do it. Ryan nodded, his own energy building. They spent the morning approaching students, sharing their vision for the rally. As each new person joined in, Ryan felt a warmth blooming in his chest. It was small but growing, like the sun peering out from behind a dark cloud, but with each conversation, the specter of Jake loomed larger in the back of Ryan's mind. The sneer on his face, the laughter of his friends, it felt like a heavy curtain hanging over their efforts. What if they turned up to mock them? Ryan? Maria's voice cut through his spiral of thoughts. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he replied, though he could hear the uncertainty in his own voice. Just thinking about, well, you know, Jake and his crew. Maria's expression turned serious. Look, we can't let him derail us. This rally is bigger than one idiot. We're here to spark conversations, and that's what matters. Ryan took a deep breath, her conviction radiating boldness. You're right. Let us not focus on fear. We need to keep moving forward. Hours flew by as they gathered support, their small initiative evolving into something tangible. They designed posters, mapped out the perfect location for the rally, and planned how to diffuse any negativity during the event. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon orange and pink, Ryan paused outside one of the campus cafes. With determination swelling in his heart, he took out his phone and messaged everyone who had shown interest in helping. Rally for change this Friday. Be there. His finger hovered above the send button, heart racing. What if no one showed up? What if Jake destroyed this dream before it could even begin? But then he thought of Maria's confidence, the thrill of potential he had seen shining in the eyes of each new supporter. Let us make this happen, he whispered, a promise to himself, and he hit send. As the message flew away into the digital world, a ripple of anxiety intertwined with anticipation washed over him. What if Friday arrived and the crowd was smaller than he had hoped? What if he stood alone, facing his fears with no one beside him? The sun set behind him, and with it, another wave of doubt crashed over Ryan. He had opened the door to change. Was he courageous enough to walk through it? Friday felt so far away, and yet so dangerously close. Would he step up when it mattered most? Ryan spent the next few days in a haze, his mind on constant replay. Each moment was consumed by thoughts of the rally, a blend of excitement and unease. The clock ticked louder, each second pulling Friday closer. As the hours passed, he found himself running through every possible scenario, mentally preparing for what lay ahead. On Thursday afternoon, he and Maria gathered in a small conference room at the student union, surrounded by the buzz of other groups preparing for various events. Posters with vibrant colors adorned the walls, but none caught Ryan's eye like their own bold letters proclaiming "Rally for Change," screamed for attention. Maria paced the room, her energy somehow infectious despite the apprehension creeping into Ryan's chest. "We've got 14 students coming for sure. That's amazing." She beamed, her optimism unwavering. "Yeah," Ryan nodded, though he couldn't shake the worry. "But will they actually show up, you know?" "Of course they will. People want to be a part of something bigger. We just have to believe it," she replied, her face lighting up like a firework. Ryan swallowed, still unsure. Her brightness was a spark in his murky doubts, but fear of failure lingered like a heavy blanket. "I just really want this to work." The day wore on, and Ryan clung to Maria's infectious spirit, but as he lay in bed that night, sleep eluded him. He stared at the ceiling, thoughts tangled in questions. Would people care enough to fight with them? Would they face ridicule? Morning arrived too soon, and Friday dawned bright and clear. Ryan bolted upright, a mix of nerves and anticipation coursing through him. This was it. The time for action had arrived. He dressed in a plain tee, nervous energy buzzing in his legs. On campus, the atmosphere vibrated with energy. More students were milling about than he had expected, and as the hour drew closer, Ryan felt a thrilling rush. Maria was off gathering last-minute supplies, and he took the time to connect with students who'd expressed interest. "Are you really coming?" he asked a junior named Emily, who had seemed enthusiastic earlier in the week. "Absolutely. I can't wait." She smiled widely, and Ryan felt a warmth growing inside him as she spoke. "Great. Just remember we need to keep things respectful, even if we encounter some negativity," he urged. "I don't think we'll have to worry about that. Trust me, this is going to be bigger than we thought." Her confidence wrapped around him like a cozy blanket. Ryan couldn't help but match her grin, the weight of his worries beginning to ease. As noon began to approach, Maria reappeared, a handful of flyers in one hand and a determined glint in her eyes. "It's almost time, Ryan. Are you ready for this?" "I think so," he breathed, though he wasn't sure his heart could keep up. A small group gathered around them, a tentative warmth blossoming as they exchanged looks of shared hope. Ryan stepped forward, feeling the crowd shift around him. "Okay, everyone, let's gather at the courtyard." He led the way, heart pounding in his chest like a drum. As they all moved, it happened students began to peel away from their groups and join him. The small entourage grew, each step building confidence within him, but then, in the distance, he spotted a figure. Jake. He stood near the edge of the courtyard, flanked by a couple of his friends. Just the sight of him made everything inside Ryan tighten up. As the group began to settle, Jake's mocking voice cut through the air, like thunder against their bright hopes. "Look at this bunch of losers. You really think you can make a difference?" Ryan's heart dropped. The excitement of moments ago collided with the sudden weight of Jake's taunts, but as Maria glanced at him, that glimmer of determination shone brighter than before. She stepped forward. "We're here to make change. You can't stop us." Her courage ignited something in Ryan. They were ready to face this, ready to rise above the noise. The crowd around them murmured, and Ryan prepared to speak, ready to face not just the crowd but his own fears. Would he find the strength he needed in this moment? Or would the echoes of doubt drown him out completely? Ryan took a deep breath, the weight pressing down harder than ever. The crowd's chatter faded slightly as he stepped forward, the tension like a taut string ready to snap. He could see the curious eyes of his peers, filled with anticipation and uncertainty. He had to remind himself why they were all here, with every heartbeat thumping against his ribs. He opened his mouth. Everyone. His voice rang out, and he felt the energy in the courtyard shift. We're gathered here today because we believe in a cause that matters. Change doesn't come easy, but it starts with us. He glanced at Maria, who nodded encouragingly, her eyes shining with belief. It ignited a flicker of confidence within him. Every one of us is here because we want our voices to be heard. We refuse to be told we can't make a difference. This is our moment. A murmur of agreement swept through the small assembly, and he sensed a palpable shift in the atmosphere. It was as if a spark ignited within those listening. Suddenly, the earlier jeers from Jake felt distant, an echo fading against the vibrant pulse of hope now coursing through Ryan's veins. Jake's laughter still held weight. A lot of noise for nothing. What are you going to do? Scream until you get tired? His friends chuckled, but this time it didn't pierce through Ryan's spirit like a knife. Instead, it fueled him. We will not be silent. Ryan shot back, his voice steady. There are issues that concern us, all issues that need addressing, and we can bring attention to them. Together. The crowd shifted. A few students raised their fists in solidarity. Emily caught his eye, her expression fierce and filled with determination. We're with you, Ryan. She yelled, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. Suddenly, Maria stepped up next to him. Let us stand together and share our voices. Her words resonated through the group. We're not just a bunch of students, we are the future. We're here to talk about what matters to us, and we won't back down. Ryan felt the energy in the air sizzle, a wave of emotion swelling up from deep inside. They were more than just a handful of students, this was a movement. A small rally of hope ready to take on the world. Jake's grin faltered, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. You think you can change things? You'll just regret this, but his words fell flat. Ryan wasn't listening anymore. He took a deep breath, letting the warmth of solidarity fill his chest. Let us stand for justice, for our rights, and for each other. Look around us. See what is possible when we uplift one another. One by one, students began to chant, their voices rising like a chorus. Change, change, change. Each echo grew louder, thrumming through Ryan's chest like a heartbeat. In that moment of unity, Ryan realized the power of community. The fear that had gripped him began to dissipate, replaced by something fierce. Confidence. Courage. Hope. But just as he felt invincible, a sharp, unexpected shout sliced through the excitement. Hey, what is going on here? A figure emerged from the edge of the courtyard, Mr. Thompson, the campus dean, looking stern and ready to shut down their gathering. A hush fell over the crowd. Ryan's heart quickened again, uncertainty creeping back in. Were they really ready to face authority now? Would they have the strength to carry on? How would Ryan respond to an adult authority figure threatening to silence them in their moment of uprising? Ryan's heart thundered in his chest as Mr. Thompson stepped forward, his presence casting a shadow over the excitement. The dean's expression was a mix of annoyance and strict authority, looming like a storm cloud ready to burst. What is going on here? Mr. Thompson's voice boomed over the courtyard, snapping the students out of their collective energy. This was the moment. Their resolve was about to face a real test. Ryan took a step forward, his throat felt dry. Sir, we're discussing important issues impacting our school and community. He called, trying to project strength while feeling the pressure like a vice around his lungs. Mr. Thompson raised an eyebrow, his frown deepening. This is not the place for such discussions. You need to disperse immediately. Ryan swallowed hard. The fear was back, wanting to overwhelm him. He could see Maria and Emily watching him intently, their faces lined with hope. How could he back down now? Respectfully, Mr. Thompson, we are not going to just walk away. This is our chance to speak up. His voice grew steadier with each word. We have a right to express ourselves. The crowd behind him stirred, shifting forward, emboldened by his sudden ripple of courage. Do you think shouting in a courtyard is going to solve anything? The dean shot back, his impatience bubbling like rising smoke. You'll just find yourselves in trouble. Is it worth it? Ryan felt the adrenaline coursing through him. Trouble? That didn't he even begin to scratch the surface of what they face day to day. We're tired of being told what we can and cannot do. This is about more than this moment. It's about the future. The students echoed a soft but simmering chant, future, future, future. And Ryan felt a spark of pride swell within him. The energy was shifting again like the tide turning. Mr. Thompson's expression hardened, but Ryan noticed a flicker of confusion on his face. Perhaps he didn't expect such a stand from students he viewed as just kids. Enough. The dean interrupted, raising his hand as if to cut the crowd's energy in half. But Ryan wasn't finished. Any student has the right to speak. We're here for change, for accountability. If you don't listen to us, how will anything ever change? The words hung in the air thick with defiance. Silence draped over the courtyard, a moment pregnant with possibility, but unease crept in. Ryan's pulse raced. Was this really working? Before he could contemplate any further, Jake shouted, "Yeah. What are we supposed to do if you shut us down? Just do what you say?" The crowd roared, their voices a tidal wave of unity. Ryan felt a knot in his stomach untie, replaced by a sense of power growing from within them all. This wasn't just him. This was their moment. See? Ryan gestured across the assembly. You're not alone. He locked eyes with Mr. Thompson, matching the dean's intensity. Don't silence us. Let us talk instead. Mr. Thompson hesitated, glancing around at the murmuring crowd, now hopeful and determined. Ryan could see the unease in the dean's posture, the flickers of doubt. Let us hear what you have to say, Mr. Thompson said finally, his voice still stern but softer, almost as if he were reluctantly accepting defeat. A wave of exhilaration surged through Ryan. They weren't being silenced. They were being heard. But just as the crowd surged with joy, celebrating this small victory, a loud crash echoed through the courtyard. A girl stumbled into view, clutching a protest sign, her eyes wide with fear. They're coming. She gasped, breathless and panicked. In an instant, the moment of triumph shifted into chaos. What was coming, and how would they respond to this new threat? The air thickened with tension as the crowd turned, eyes wide and focused on the girl who had burst into their midst. Ryan felt the rush of adrenaline drain away, replaced by an unsettling chill. Who is coming? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. I don't know. I just heard them. The girl, identifiable now as Mia, looked around frantically, her eyes darting from face to face. She clutched the sign to her chest like a shield. Ryan felt a surge of protectiveness over her. Everyone, stay calm. He called, but the crowd's energy quivered with anxiety. He could see students whispering to each other, uncertainty bubbling up. What if they really are coming? Mr. Thompson's expression changed as well. The stern authority faded, and Ryan could see the worry etched into the dean's features. What do you mean? Who is coming? He pressed, his voice less an order now and more a frantic plea. Mia took a deep breath, attempting to steady herself. I overheard some teachers saying. Her voice wavered, but determination flickered in her gaze. They're planning to break up this rally. It's not safe here. The realization simmered in the air and an uproar erupted. Students hurriedly exchanged worried glances. Ryan's heart raced. They had fought so hard to be heard, but if what Mia said was true, everything they'd built was about to unravel. Everyone listen. Ryan shouted, trying to rise above the chaos. If they want to silence us, we have to stand together. We can't let them take this away from us. The murmurs quieted, a wave of determination washing over the crowd again. They had found their voice, and they wouldn't let it be taken from them without a fight. He could feel the momentum building, the energy humming beneath their feet, igniting with a purpose. What do we do? Maria shouted from the front, her eyes blazing with fire. We can't let them intimidate us. Let us surround Mia. Make sure everyone knows we're not afraid. Jake yelled, an idea sparking behind his eyes. Yeah, we'll show them that we won't be pushed around anymore. Someone else chimed in. The counter-surge of enthusiasm washed over Ryan, and he felt a surge of hope. They could stand together, they could become a barricade against fear. As students rallied around Mia, Ryan felt the weight of leadership settling between his shoulders. "This is our moment," he cried, gesturing passionately. "If they want to break us up, they'll have to face all of us." A chant rose spontaneously, louder than before. Together. 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 A force of unity boomed through their voices, sending ripples of defiance into the air, but just as Ryan began to feel invincible, a commotion erupted from the entrance of the courtyard. A group of faculty members marched in, their eyes sharp and unyielding. Ryan's stomach dropped as he recognized some of the faces they were known for enforcing the school's strict policies. How would they respond to this crowd of daring students? "Enough of this. Disperse now," their lead teacher barked, slicing through the euphoric chant like a knife. Ryan took a deep breath as uncertainty roared back, mixing with the adrenaline. Would they actually disperse? His heart raced as he locked eyes with Mr. Thompson, expecting to see the reassurance of their earlier agreement, but instead, he found an indecisive look, a flicker of conflict. Would this moment define them, or would it fizzle out under pressure? The crowd's unity was pulsating, but the faculty's authority loomed heavy like dark clouds. "Ryan," someone whispered beside him, voice trembling. He couldn't let fear win now. "We're not going anywhere," he shouted, feeling the courage swell within him again. "We're here to stay, to speak our truth." Would they really stand together, or would fear tear them apart? The air crackled with tension as Ryan's voice rang out, strong and unwavering. The crowd echoed him, the chant amplifying into a rallying cry. "We're here to stay. We're here to stay." Students encircled Mia, forming a protective wall as the faculty advanced. The tension was a thread, about to snap. Ryan glanced at the lead teacher, who wore an expression of disbelief intermingled with anger. Mr. Thompson stood torn, caught between the authority he had to enforce and the dialogue sparked by Ryan's words. Would he stand by the students or uphold the rigid lines they had all been taught to respect? "Enough," the lead faculty member shouted again, taking a step forward, his posture rigid. But Ryan could see the flickering shadows of uncertainty on his face. "Sir," Ryan spoke up, his heart pounding in his chest. "We're not here to cause trouble. We're here to talk about what matters to us. About issues that affect our school and community." His voice rang out, calm but passionate, laced with the urgency of their cause. The crowd buzzed with shared energy. "We want to be heard. We want to make a difference." Someone in the back yelled, the collective strength of the group propelling Ryan forward, pushing him to stand firm. Just then, Maria stepped beside him, her eyes fierce with determination. "And if you silence us," she added, "you're denying our right to speak, to be part of the solution. We deserve to express our concerns openly." The atmosphere shifted. Whispers rippled through the students. Uncertainty morphed into a collective sense of hope. They were not just students. They were a united front of force that refused to be marginalized. In that heartbeat of time, the lead teacher paused, glancing among the sea of fervent faces. Ryan could almost see the wheels turning in his mind. The weight of authority bore down on him, but so did the insistent energy of the students. "Look," the teacher began, hesitating. "This isn't how we typically handle discussions about school policies or social issues." He faltered, the rigidity of authority loosening as he faced the undeniable passion igniting the group. "Then let us change that," Ryan declared, stepping forward purposefully. "Change doesn't come from silence. Give us a platform, allow us to communicate our thoughts in a constructive way. We're not here to disrupt, but to discuss solutions. Together." A shift of unease danced through the faculty members, and Ryan sensed how the tide was turning, just like the sun beginning to shine through thick clouds. Hope blossomed in his chest, fueled by the resounding chants of support from his peers. The lead teacher took a deep breath, weighing the courage and the concerns laid out before him. "If you truly wish to talk, so be it. I will allow this gathering to continue, but it must remain civil. You can hold your discussion, but if it turns into chaos, I will have to intervene." Ryan felt his heart surge. They had made a breakthrough. "We promise to stay respectful. We want to be heard, and we will honor this opportunity," he said, his voice steady and bright, the power radiating through him. Cheers erupted from the crowd, a wave of joy bursting forth. They were standing for something beyond themselves, an echoing sense of purpose binding them together like the roots of a mighty tree. Together, together, together. They chanted, and Ryan felt the electric connection among them, each of them knowing they had crossed a tremendous threshold. The faculty stepped back cautiously, those once stern faces softened, and the air felt lighter. Maria squeezed Ryan's arm, a proud smile beaming from her face. They had done it. Ryan took a moment to absorb the scene, filled with optimism. They still faced obstacles ahead, but today, they had forged a connection that could lead to real change. Today was the first chapter of their fight for awareness. He turned to the crowd, feeling the warmth of their collective spirit. Let us take this moment and shape it into something meaningful. Let us stand together for our voices and our community. As the crowd erupted into applause, Ryan caught a glimpse of Jake at the back, anger written all over his face. But something had changed. He didn't feel scared anymore. He could feel it deep in his bones. This was just the beginning. Energy crackled in the air as students began sharing their thoughts, their feelings, and their hopes. Ryan stood tall among them. He was not just the son of a billionaire anymore. He was a voice for change, a beacon for unity. And as the rally surged forward, Ryan knew they were all in this together, ready to forge a brighter future. This was the moment they'd light the way for others, the truth woven into every heartbeat, a reminder that when united, they could overcome anything. Now, as the rally continued, Ryan could see his whole life shifting. He had found his purpose, not just for himself, but for everyone around him. But the journey was just beginning. Would you join them? If you believe in the power of change, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for voices that matter. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, because your voice matters. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the message together.